I want to talk about unconditional love, especially with Mother's Day literally being 2 days away or Mother's Day weekend being upon us. Um, my mom never learned unconditional love, so she couldn't teach me unconditional love, and hence the reason why her and I are estranged as we are now. But I was very fortunate to have somebody who did know unconditional love and took it upon themselves to show it to me. And I want to share that story. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and if you're familiar with the Jehovah's Witness faith or religion, where I am now does not sit well with what it is that they teach. And as a very, very young child, I have been extremely feminine. Like it was, I mean, when I look back at me as a little bitty young boy, um, crossing legs, rolling eyes, it wasn't learned behavior, it was me. And a lot of people knew early on that this was going to be inevitable for this child. My mom, of course, didn't agree with that. She wanted to reinforce the Bible and what the Bible said, and how the Bible did not agree with um, this type of so called behavior. But my mom was estranged from her mom, and in the congregation that I attended, the Kingdom Hall, um, there was a lady there that I would learn to call Grandma Daisy. Now, she wasn't my biological grandmother, but she would prove to be more than that. She would, upon us arriving to service, would always have me sit next to her. And a lot of times when my mom would scold me or discipline me, she would be there to basically soften the blow, if not stop the blow, and be like, you can't do this, this is. She would say so many things and do so many things. And I had come to love Grandma Daisy as my grandma. Now, I was very young when Grandma Daisy was introduced to me. So young that my real biological grandmother, who my mom had estranged herself from her mother, was already out of the picture. Had been taken out of the picture when I was a very, very, very young child. I would not get introduced into my biological grandmother until I was in high school. Okay. So throughout my whole young years, I just knew Grandma Daisy to be my grandma. And she really cared for me. She looked after me. She was like, if your mom does this to say that, let me know. She doesn't need to be doing this. She doesn't need to be saying these things. And even though my grandmother did say these things to me, when I would get home, my mom would be quick to reinforce that she was in control and that you better not tell your grandmother these things. You better not do this and you better not do that. And so I was torn between these two worlds of wanting to listen to my grandmother because I felt like she loved me more than my mom did, but realizing that I had to live with my mom. So there was that battle going on. It wasn't obviously until I became an adult, or was almost an adult, I'm in high school, that I got reintroduced into my biological grandmother. And at that time, I'm like, well, who is Grandma Daisy? And my mom was like, oh, well, she was somebody that took me under her wing and called me her granddaughter because she never had children. I don't know if she could have children, but she never had any children. And so we were her grandchildren. Um, and it hurt me initially. It hurt me so much that I would never talk to Grandma Daisy again because I thought in my mind that how could she lie to me? How could, for all those years, could she love me and not tell me the truth that she was never really my grandmother, that she wasn't my biological grandmother. To the point that when Grandma Daisy passed away, I had estranged myself from her, and I didn't even go to the funeral or anything like that. My mom always was like, Grandma Daisy's asking about you, because as she was getting up in age. And I would just be like, yeah, I'll go visit her, I'll go visit her. And I never went to go visit her because I was really hurt by the fact that I felt like she didn't have to lie to me. As an adult, I realized it wasn't that she lied to me, it was that I was too young to understand that Unconditional love looks like that. It looks like that. It looks like you taking care of somebody and caring for somebody as if they are family to you because they mean that much to you. They mean that much to you that you're willing to do what is necessary to create an environment so that that child could be loved. And I knew that my Grandma Daisy loved me, and I still call her Grandma Daisy to this day because I realized that if it wasn't for Grandma Daisy showing me what unconditional love looks like, even all the way up until her death, that I wouldn't be able to stand so proudly and say, I am who I am. Because the one thing that she always said to me is she said, baby, I know, the Bible says this and the Bible says that, but this is what I want you to promise me. She said, promise me that you'll never be a hypocrite, baby. That's the worst thing you can be, is be a hypocrite. And I'm thankful for that because I would have never known what it was to be real growing up in a house where I had to be somebody that I wasn't in order to survive.